What is up, everyone? This is Vishak here, and welcome to Motivation. In this chapter, you will really understand what motivation is. And motivation is not, uh, motivation is not just watching some video or getting pumped, right? I mean, getting pumped is the motivation. Getting pumped, getting energized, anything that makes you move is the motivation. So, in this chapter, we're going to understand what is motivation and what can really bring out the self-driven mentality, like self-motivated person. They say that I'm a self-motivated person. So how do you get to that point? So I want to um, help you understand that. Okay, let's just get started. So we're going to be talking about what exactly is motivation, what are the states, what are the motivation levels, and understanding the psychological force. Okay, so here, when you get to that third motivation levels, right? I mean, the third one, you will really understand, like, not just understand, but you will start doing things so much different because you will start seeing things differently, and you will never have the fatigue, the mental fatigue. You will never have it. You will never feel, um, I don't know, should I be doing that? Like that will never happen, because this is pretty much the behavior redesign, right? And I have put it in such a way that you're going to really think, like, every morning when you wake up, you're going to really think about, do I want to do this? I don't think so. I need to change this up. Like, you're going to have that kind of a pattern going on in your the thought pattern that's going on in your mind, and you will realize it by the end of this video. Okay, and then, of course, the psychological force, like, how can you consciously bring the psychological force into attention and make that work for you. Okay, cool. So motivation is anything that makes you move, anything that makes you um, take that action. Okay, it is a process of encouragement to act, to achieve a goal. It can be anything. So if you are thirsty, then thirst is the motivation for you to act, to achieve a goal, to quench the thirst, right? Achieve a goal is quench the thirst. Action is drinking the water. So it's just an encouragement. And if you see, people are not motivated, or people are not really achieving big things either, like, okay, if they don't want to achieve big things, that's okay. There's no question. We're not even talking about them. But you want to achieve something, but you're not able to do it. That means the encouragement factor is not there. The motivation factor is not there. There's something lacking. And if you understand what exactly that is, and unfortunately I can't help you with that, because it's all different for each and every one of us, because our goal is different. And why do you want to achieve your goal? It's your own reason. It's your own personal answer. It's your own, the answer is within you. And you just have to associate that with that, and that's it. And you will understand what that is. Okay, so motivation is just an encouragement to act, to achieve something. So it is like a driving force behind every action. So every action is motivated by something. So a person wants to kill someone is because he's motivated by something. Either it's a revenge, or it's a theft, it's a money, it's a something is motivating that killer to go and kill this person. Something is motivating that person to go rob a bank. Something is motivating this person to go search for a job. Something is motivating for a child to go and ask, I want this, I want that, like, whatever, right? I mean, behind every action there is a motivation going on, right? So every human motivation boils down to one thing, that is seek pleasure and increase pleasure and avoid or reduce pain. And that's it. So this was a famous theory that was it was conceptualized by Carl Jung, brought this entire thing into the mainstream. Like, okay, so seek pleasure or increase pleasure avoid pain or reduce pain. This is like ultimate human motivation, and there's nothing more and there's nothing less, but everything just comes down to this. Okay, so all the pain and pleasure boils down to the needs, desires, wants, and urges, and there's nothing more, there's nothing beyond, there's nothing below, and this is it. So basically motivation is like anything that makes you act. Okay, so the stronger the urge to pee, you'll be motivated to go and pee. Okay, even if anyone is dying, even if, like, I don't know, like the most famous actor, your favorite actor has come to your place, like you will not stop for him or her because you want to pee. Like you know what I mean, like you're gonna pee, you're not gonna stand there and just take an autograph because the person is there. The urge is over there so much that you're gonna go pee because it's hurting, the pain. Okay, or the hunger, you'll be motivated to eat because this is the ultimate motivation, right? The colder you feel, the stronger the urge to sex, the the broke you are, or whatever. But it's motivating, it's moving you. Let me just break it down for you and make you understand. So there is this person with $1,000, and that's okay. He's okay to be with that. I'm happy with this. I am totally happy with this. But there's another person who's got this $1,000,000, and they're like, I'm pretty scared because I have $1,000,000 and that's it, right? There are two kinds of people. These two are people, common people, like. But so this is like, so what is causing this particular person to be absolutely okay and be not so motivated to do anything about this to increase, like to doing anything to increase this? Or what makes a person to really get scared and anxiety, like so much anxious about this? Oh, I just have only $1,000,000, I have to really move up the ladder, what can I do? Like he's getting scared about this one. Why? This is just nothing but the thermostat. So in our mind we have, I told you about this three sections in the brain, right? I mean, the reptilian brain, the middle brain, and the thinking brain. So in the thinking brain, this person already knows, he's already lived in this $1,000, and I'm okay, he's okay because it is not threatening his survival. So $1,000, I'm good. And there are some people who are in negative, and they're good, they're comfortable there because, well, they have lived there and it's not causing anything to their existence. But they're not really seeing things from a different angle. It's just that it's so much of social embarrassment, not really moving up the hierarchy or anything like that. I mean, if the money is a big thing, right? But on the other hand, this person, he's like, no matter what happens, I should not get below this. If I go below this, that's a problem, there's a serious problem. So again, in this, the thinking brain knows very well that if it goes below this means, I don't think so I'll be able to live a lifestyle I want. So it threatens my survival. So this is the threat. That is a motivation for this person to really do something about it to increase this. Or if he's a person like he's not okay with $1,000, like 1,200 is okay, 1,100 is, anything beyond 1,000 is okay, but below 1,000 is okay, not okay. So what motivates this person or this person to go start doing something about this to increase this is the motivation. Are you getting it? So what is causing, let's say there is a fat person, this person is fat and this person is thin, but he's still motivated to go work out. Why? Like I was there and I used to keep calling myself fat, even though I had 4 packs, I didn't have the last 2, and I was working insanely hard to get that last 2. And I was like super motivated to go get my workout down every single day, 7 days a week, twice a day sometimes, because I wanted to get that, because I consider myself as fat, and that is the lowest standard I can set myself. Like I can never be fat, and I never wanted to be fat, like not even a little bit. So that the tiny little amount of fat that I want to take it off, I don't want that. So I have put in so much of work and I have understood the process that I want to do it over and over again, and I want to take it off because it feels nice to, so it is the standard that you set. So what really motivated me to do the things is because of that tiny little, itty bitty fat pieces, fat tissues that I have in my abdomen area. I never liked it. So I wanted to get rid of it. I want to take that off. Okay. But at the same time, there are people who are like fat, like really fat. And they're like, Vishak, look at me. And I'm okay with this. This is fat. You're not fat. And for them, that for me, like when I look at them, that's out of control. I can't deal with that, right? But for me, I need to really get this off and achieve like a really good aesthetic physique. So that's the standard that we set. So it's all the standard that you set. So motivation really comes down to that standard that you set. When it comes to I'm not talking about the basics meaning if you're hungry, anybody will just go and eat. If you have the urge to have sex, anybody will just go and have sex. If you have the urge to you have a headache or you have any pain, anybody will just go and try to sort out the pain. But I'm talking about the next level beyond that. I'm talking about the thinking brain. Okay, so now let's talk about the state. And this one is extremely important, and you have to be mindful every time from tomorrow, whenever you're doing any kind of task. Okay, so most people, when they wake up, they are neutral state. Okay, I put this sleep emoji, but let's just take it as wake up, just awake state, just up from the sleep. Okay, you're in a neutral state. So any person who just wakes up, they are in a neutral state. Immediate. That is a starting point. Our brain loves to go and start seeking pleasure. That's what I told you, right? Anything comes down to either seeking pleasure or increasing pleasure, or reducing pain or eliminating pain. So let's take this person A, or person, I don't know, whoever, Mark, right? Mark is in a neutral state. So Mark, these are the activities that he's doing after the neutral state. He wakes up and these are the things that he's doing it. Okay, he's doing, like, he's having sex, and then he's having the food, and then he listens to some music, and then he's reading a little bit, and he's meditating a little bit. And there is a reason why I put it like this. So sex is a enticing activity. Nobody dislikes sex. Why? Because it's very important. It is supposed to feel good, because the more people have it, it is good for the humanity. The human race will keep going. And it's not only for humans. Any living thing will feel good to have sex, because once you have sex, it procreates. So it's the basic thing. Food, of course, it is supposed to feel good, because you eat, you live. If you don't eat, you die, right? So we tend to go for food. Music, it is on the emotion. Sometimes music takes you places. Music makes you feel good. So when it takes you places, it gets you motivated, it makes you feel sad, it makes you feel good. All these are feelings. So feeling is just in the mind, is just the reality, like the mind's reality, right? It's just the feeling. And the next thing is reading. Reading, for some people it's a pleasure, but for some people it is not. Well, reading is, let's just keep it as a neutral by taking the average standpoint. Some people like it, some people don't like it, so let's just keep it as neutral. Meditation, again, some people like it, some people don't like it. Let's just keep it as a neutral. So this is a condition, as in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 activities. He's waking up from a neutral state. The moment he wakes up, first he has sex, and then the food, and then the music, and then reading, and then meditation. He's performing these activities in order. Okay, this is the state. Now, hold this in your mind. Moving on to the actual neutral or the motivated state, right? So in this, if you see, sex is a motivated state. He's waking up, that's a neutral state. And then he is having sex, that's a motivated state. Having food is a motivated state. Listening to music is a motivated state. Reading, I'll keep it neutral for now, because this is subjective. Meditation, neutral for now, because this is, again, it's relative. So the neutral state is a state of boredom. That means you just woke up. You just open your eyes. Like you finish your meditation, that's your neutral state. That is a neutral state. So from the neutral state, we tend to seek things that gives us pleasure. What do you do the first thing that you wake up, right? If you're thirsty, you drink the water. If you're hungry, you go eat the food, right? If you don't have any of these emotions, what do? What's the first thing that you do? And this is so important, and I'll tell you how, as you watch this, you will understand why is this so important. So what happens when you're not thirsty, you're not hungry, or you're not horny? You don't want to have sex. Like Okay, so that's the neutral state. So when you don't have any of this, then your mind will be drawn to the pleasure giving activities. Listen to music, right? Or take the phone. Let's see what is in there. So the moment you open the phone, and then you want to have some good time over there, right? You want to open the Facebook, you want to open Instagram, watch some videos on YouTube, So this goes on to increase pleasure. So first, if you see the second point, it is seek pleasure. First thing is you need to get your mind activated to something that is pleasurable. Just getting activated to that pleasure. And then goes on to increase pleasure. This is extremely important. Please stick with me. This is important, okay? Seek pleasure and increase pleasure. Because how you will see how the seeking will fade away and eventually increase will increase, okay? So when your mind is keep on getting drawn to this and this and this. So first you open Facebook, and then you do it for a while, and then you go for a YouTube, and then you do for a while, and then you go to Instagram, and then you do for a while. All these are pleasure giving or pleasure increasing activities. For some people, not for some people, for most people, I would not say 100, definitely not 100, but to a great extent, 85, 90% of the people, this is an automated behavior. Like the moment you wake up, not only wake up, even after the meditation, or even after, I don't know, anything that keeps you at a neutral state, unmotivated state, that means it's a neutral state. So from this neutral state, 85 to 95 or 90 to 95% of the people go on to increase pleasure. Look at the activities that increase the pleasure. It's not please, but it's pleasure. Okay. Sorry for the spelling. Increase the pleasure. So if it is an automated behavior that you're seeking and increasing pleasure, that is called as pleasure unconscious. It is not please unconscious. I'm so sorry. Excuse me for that. Unconsciously, you are seeking and increasing pleasure. Okay. So how many times have you woke up and immediately you just checked your phone without even putting your mind to it? It's just an automated behavior, right? You're just going into your phone. It just happens, like you're breathing. You're just taking your phone and just checking, open it, unlock it, open the app, whatever you find it, and then boom, from there on it starts, right? This is called as a pleasure unconscious, right? It doesn't have to be phone. So what happened? What were people doing before the phone? Or what were people doing before? They were looking into tablet. Now the tablet, what's that? TV, right? The moment they wake up, they turn on the TV and then start eating that, right? If there's no access to pleasure available in the immediate environment, that means you woke up and near your bed, there is no food and there is no sex and there is no phone. If that's the case, then it causes the pain because you need something. If you really wanted to understand this point, tonight if you go to bed, don't carry your phone, and tomorrow when you wake up, don't have anything that gives you pleasure. That causes you pain. I want something to engage my mind on, right? If you don't have it, then it causes pain. So in your immediate environment, if there is no pleasure giving activities or the task, then you look for getting rid of the pain, immediate pain, or solving a pain that is in your head. That's like, oh, I've got that problem. What do I do with that? I've got this problem. What do I do with that? This is the root of all negative or overthinking begins. This is where it all begins. You're idle. Your mind is not occupied, and you're really thinking, like you're anxious about, what do I do? You're trying to solve the problem in your head. So even if that is not available, even if you don't have any problem, and then you will start singing. These are some of the things, right? You start talking to yourself, you tell some stories, or you start singing a song, stuff like that. But now you're getting a pretty good idea about how we seek pleasure and increase pleasure, right? So the most important thing that you need to take from this is seeking and increasing. Okay. So now let's understand the motivation levels. So we saw this, right? Sex, food, music, reading, meditation. These are few activities that I have put to make you understand the state. Now let's get deep into this. This is called as motivation levels. So when a person wakes up in a neutral state, now you're awake. After the sleep, you had a good night's sleep. Okay. And then that point you are in a neutral state. And now immediately picture this. Either it's you or it's someone else. Okay. Someone else doing this. The moment you wake up from the neutral state, you're reading. Reading makes you feel good because you're gaining knowledge. Or not, sorry, not or. After reading, and then you go on to do the tax filing. And then after that, you're going to go for a walk. And then after that, you come back and you fill out some forms, like some 20-page forms. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing some random activities. And then you go for a meditation. And then you go for a workout. This is a series of events that is happening after the person has woken up. In this order. That's why I put it as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, in this order, in specifically this order. So if you're going in this order, the chances are highly likely for him or you to achieve all of this. The chances are highly likely. Let me tell you why after the next one. Scenario number 2. A person wakes up in a neutral state. The moment he wakes up, he has 2 drinks. And then after that, he has sex. And then after that, he goes out to the nightclub, right? Dance over there, like for 2-3 hours. Have a lot of fun, visually, mentally, physically, all stimulation, right? And then after that, you drive a fancy car, right? Like crazy fancy car. You drive there, you get the rush, you feel the rush. And after that, you reach wherever it is, and then you start watching Instagram for about an hour. And after that, you try to file your tax. Okay, if it is a deadline, you're fucked. That's it. And that's it. It looks basic. It looks extremely basic because, like, who would do the tax filing after all of this? Like, it looks basic, but you know how many people, okay, maybe I took it too far about, drinks and sex and going out to the club. But even if this is not done, most of the pleasure-giving activities are being done in the starting itself, and then not filing your tax. I'm not talking about filing your tax. I'm talking about going to your job and doing the boring work. I'm talking about working on your goals. I'm talking about staying on discipline with your staying focused with your stuff, whatever you're supposed to do. That is filing your tax, because that's boring, because that is good work. That is the thing that gets you to the next level in your life, right? Because that's boring, because always the good work is the hardest, right? So tax filing is like that. This is not you don't get an instant gratification out of this, but is it something that you have to do? You have to do. Okay, so this is doable. Highly likely you will achieve this if you're going in this format, like not format, but in this order. But if you're doing this, you will get to this point. Until this, it's easy. This one, you will struggle. I'm not saying that you can't. If you're determined, you can. But you need a stronger determination for you to do this. Right? If you're doing this on the first one, and then you do all of that, that's okay. Because, of course, your mind capacity will be better. And the chances are highly likely for you to get it done with more efficiency. But if you're going to do it last, you'll be sloppy. Okay? There's another state. There's another condition I'll give you. Moment you wake up, after the neutral state, you're going to play the video game and watch a movie in a big screen, and then visually stimulating music videos. And after this, you're going to prepare SLA or the forecast report for your company, for your boss. Right? This is what is causing you procrastination. This is what is causing you your delay. This is what is causing you like, oh my God, that sucks. I don't want to do that today. This is the reason. I'm not necessarily the video game or the movie or the visually stimulating music. These are just, I've pushed it to some extreme. But what are the activities that are giving you the high pleasure? So in this, if you see, of course, there are levels to it, right? Reading, does it give you pleasure? Yes, it does. Filling out the forms, does it give you pleasure? No, it doesn't. So if you, instead of this, if you put filling out the forms of tax filing first, filling out the form second, and then meditation, and then reading, and then going for a walk, and then workout, you're going to kill all of this with an ease. This, for you to do it in the order that I told you, it's like placing a hot knife on a butter. You will slide it in and then you will kill it like that. But over here, it's just going to be like, you know, preparing an SLA report is going to be like, it's just going to be like a rock falling on your head when you're an infant. Just imagine that, right? That's how hard it's gonna hit you, right? So understanding your state is extremely important because you're going to protect your state. So me, the way that I play my life right now, I play this game is like, I'm going to protect my state. I'm going to be motivated, but not on playing the video game, not on watching the movie, but I'm motivated to do this. Like recording the video right now or preparing the slide, it took me a week. So if I'm going to watch Instagram in the morning and then going for a ride, and then after that, I'm going to do all of this. And then if I'm going to file my tax, and then if I'm towards the night, if I'm just going to sit for this, my mind will be like, what the hell? Like I want to get some sleep and I'll do it tomorrow. Okay. If this is the vibe that you set, like no matter what I do, I'm still like a fucking animal. I can get my shit done before sleep. I am like that. Then it's okay. But if you're trying to do it for the first time, or if you're trying to adapt from this activities to this activity, you're going to struggle. Okay. See, now take it in this format. Now there's a person, and if the current activity is like driving a fancy car and going in a very good, like having a good ride, having a good drive, and then coming back, right? If it is just to clear the mind, that's okay. You're going to clear your mind and then come back and then you're going to read. But if that's not the case, you're going to have so much fun. Let's replace this with any other activity, like, any other activity that is like highly pleasure giving, highly stimulating visually, mentally, physically. It's all stimulating activity. Then after that, coming back to less or low pleasurable activity, the motivation score is going to be 0 out of 10 or 1 out of 10. It's going to be low. That's the point. But put this on the other side. If you're going to start reading, if some of us reading is good, interesting, but some it's boring. So again, it depends on the book, it depends on the person, it depends, there's a lot of variables to it. But my point is, the current activity is reading, the first activity after the neutral state. If it is reading, then the motivation score is going to be 7 out of 10, not 70, but 7 out of 10. And then following the new act, that's the new act. So the current act is, so if your current act is this, like if your current activity is this, and if you're going to think about reading after this, then your motivation is going to be low. But if your current activity is reading, and if you're thinking about something more exciting to you, then the motivation score will be 7 or 8 or 10. Or I don't know, like it's going to be more. So this one is going to have a huge impact in your life in the next 6 months to 1 year to 5 years to 10 years. The way that you live your life, the quality of your life is going to have so much of impact just by understanding this one. So what is the kind of activity that you are choosing after your neutral state? That's extremely important. That means the first 5 activities, the first 10 activities, whatever you're doing, if it is going to be high pleasure giving, highly stimulating, visually stimulating, mentally stimulating activities that you're going to do in the morning, the other activity that really moves the needle of your life will suffer. Even if you try to do it, it's not doing it now, right? It is you need to try, and then you don't need to just try, you will have to try harder to get that done. And your brain will suffer. You will suffer, like you're struggling because you're not able to get it done. Because the actual things that moves the needle of your life is, starting a business, learning a skill, going to the gym, working out, eating healthy. All these are boring, but these are the things that is really moving your life forward. Think about it. Okay, applying for a new job, starting a business, anything. That's why I say that, good things always takes energy, time, effort. So these are the motivation levels. So once you understand the motivation levels, you will really start becoming aware of every activity that you're doing, and then you will start prioritizing accordingly. You will start putting the right things in the right place. So please understand, if you want to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot. If you want to write it down, you can write it down. Going from a high pleasure activity like a video game to a low pleasure activity like filing a tax can feel like decrease in pleasure and focus. So when there's a decrease in pleasure, then the focus also will suffer. The concentration also will suffer. Okay. So you often find it challenging to give up on a high pleasure activity for a less intense one. So you will always find it challenging you will not be motivated to give up on the driving because you want to read, but you can give up easily on the reading to go for a drive. Okay, so people who experiences high achievements and victories in life may view, not may, it is like they view the low pleasure activities like this. It's not very pleasurable. They don't feel like it, because their achievements, they are getting the kick. Like a drug addict is getting the kick from the drugs, right? I mean, like for a person, for a businessman, for him it is like the impact that he's making on the world, or the monies that he's making, or the other victories in life. For a person who's a player, like for him it is about the achievements that he's making. He's getting kicks out of that, while compared to the other people who are having, you're getting the point, right? So the pleasure, what is a pleasure giving activity is very subjective and relative. But I'm talking to the mass. I'm talking to people who wanted to change their current existing behavior and the habit to move on to the new one, because the current existing habit has not really served you well. So for this transition, it takes some time, it takes some effort, and it takes some energy, and you have to be conscious about it. So when you don't understand this, you're going to be mindlessly scrolling and mindlessly doing whatever you're doing. And I want you to be mindful about whatever you're doing from tonight or from tomorrow. Okay, so in summary, the pursuit of the lower pleasure activity can become unattractive. That means filing your tax can become unattractive if you're a person who's accustomed to going to the club all the time, or spending your time on drugs or Instagram and alcohol and everything. The actual work becomes so boring. Okay, so the levels, like I said, it is very relative and is very subjective. For some people, doing accounts is the most tempting thing that a person can experience. But for most people, doing the accounting or audit is the worst thing. Like for me, for example, I can't do maths. I can't do my audits. That's why I have an auditor. Like I don't want to do that. That's boring for me, right? So I want to create things. So when it comes to creating stuff, like there are people who don't want to do what I'm doing, because to me, working gives me happiness. And I'm turned on by this shit. Like whatever I'm doing, I'm turned on. Every morning when I wake up, I'm looking forward to get here and do what I'm doing. Okay, so the levels is very subjective. Do I get the happiness from Instagram? 15 minutes and my mind will be fried, and I'll be like, I'm tired, I can't do this anymore. Like, so I don't go 15 minutes. 10 minutes is my maximum threshold for every day. 10 minutes. And Twitter, yes, of course, Twitter goes more, but then, so you got the point, right? Drinking alcohol, it fucks up my mind, it fucks up my entire day, so I don't do that now, right? Or doing drugs, I'm out of drugs. I don't do drugs, right? So I have the pleasure giving activities. I have said in my mind that there are certain things that gives me so much of pleasure, and I love doing it. So constant reinforcement and constant association has happened over the period of time. And now what gives me pleasure is it music, or is it working on a script? It's working on a script. I was a DJ. So this transition took me some time. I want you to have this transition by giving up all the other things that is really not helping you in your life today or for tomorrow, right? I want you to get that pleasure from the things that is really moving the life forward, really moving your life forward, doing the hard things, doing riskier things, doing scary things, doing like, I don't know, like learning a skill, like preparing stuff, like creating stuff. I want you to start getting the pleasure for that. That means your mind will be, this is literally we are altering your mind. Okay, like literally we are altering the mind, and the brain. Okay, the brain plasticity, the neocortex will get so much intensified in the coming weeks, days, I don't know. Okay, and you will start making those conscious decisions and choices, and that's going to happen. So what is your active psychological force? Very simple. Pleasure unconscious. So now pleasure unconscious is maybe spending some time on whatever gives you pleasure, right? I don't know what that is. Like either it could be having sex, or it could be binge eating, watching movies, or it could be, this is unconsciously you're doing it. Like you think that you are doing it consciously, but then it's a pleasure seeking, pleasure increasing unconscious activity. Naturally you're slipping away into that. If you're conscious and if you know that that's wrong, then you will stop it. So the idea, the goal for me is to get you from the pleasure unconscious to pleasure conscious, and move the pleasure conscious to the actual activity that moves the needle of your life, and then get you into the pleasure unconscious, because the moment you wake up and you are naturally gravitating, moving towards the things that moves the needle of your life. I know that was a lot to digest. Okay, so that is my goal, and I will make sure that I will do it, and I've got the confidence that I can do it for you by the end of this. Not by the end of this, but by the end of this journey that you are going to go on, embark on. Okay, so the active psychological force, the system that I'm going to teach, the tools that I'm going to help you with, the tools that I'm going to teach, it's going to help you design a world for your goal. Okay, it is going to design a world that is going to help you achieve your goal faster. Okay, you're going to make more effective decisions that is favorable to your goal, and you're going to create a system that restores your dopamine receptors. And that's what I'm going to help. I'm going to help you create a system for that, and I'm going to help you build a routine that improves your limbic system. Limbic system is something we spoke about, the middle brain, right? The emotional brain. I'm going to help you increase and improve your limbic system functionality. And the next is your thoughts, feelings, and actions will be redesigned, and all these will be directed towards the goal and not the other way around. Okay, so that is the active psychological force, and eventually redesigning the pleasure conscious to pleasure unconscious. After this, you will be taking conscious decisions on the things, on the activity that you're supposed to do, right? The rational mind, you will start doing it, and more you reinforce, you will go from pleasure conscious to pleasure unconscious. Unconsciously, you will start working on your goals. Unconsciously, you will start doing the right things that is favorable to your goal, to your life, to your happiness, to your whatnot. Okay, so that is a psychological force that I'm trying to activate. That's how you activate the monster. Activate the monster. Thank you so much for learning. In case if you have any, I'm sure this is a lot to digest. I want you to go back, watch it once, twice, until you really make that conscious decisions every single activity that you're doing. I want you to take a conscious decision and then start moving and start strengthening the other character, the other personality. Create the monster. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.